All right, guys, so here's our video on estimation and rounding. You will have to do this on the test, so make sure that you listen to this and that if you are, you try the problems with us. The things you definitely have to know are the vocabulary words over here. You have to know what estimate means. Is it reasonable? Front-end estimation, rounding, product, and quotient. Hopefully we right now are thinking a product is multiplication and quotient is division.
All right, so here's a sample problem. You could be asked to round to the greatest place value in a number, or you could be asked to round within that number. So if I'm rounding 3,529 to the nearest hundreds, the only part of the number I'm actually rounding is 529. 529 is going to round down to 500, so the answer I'm left with is 3,500. If I'm rounding to the nearest tens, the part of the number I'm really rounding is 29. So if I'm rounding 29, that's between 20 and 30. It's closer to 30, so it rounds up. So my number becomes 3,530.
All right, now you are going to be asked to add and check for reasonableness. So for these, you actually have to do both. You actually have to solve and you actually have to estimate the check. So if I do number 3, I would rewrite it up and down, and I would keep my place values in line, and I would actually solve first. So 6 plus 0 is 6, 2 plus 1 is 3, 4 plus 2 is 6, 5 plus 3 is 8, and I get that number. Well, I know a few ways to check to see if it's right, and one of them is to estimate. So I'm going to round. I'm going to round to the nearest.
The greatest place values. If it doesn't specify for you, you're going to round to the highest place value.
So I'm going to round the nearest thousand. So if I'm looking at 5,426, I'm looking, and the 4 is telling me, so it's 4 or below, let it go, 5 or above, give it a shove. This is 4 or below, so it's going to keep it.
Johnson?
Yes?
Can we have Haley for just a solo, although she will return?
She's at recess.
Oh, she's at recess. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, just like being in class with us. Interactions all the time.
All right, so keep watching. We're back at it. 5,000. 3,210, I would look back at the 2. That's 4 or below, so I'm going to let the 3 go, and I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to add. And I get 8,000. I know that they are relatively close, so my answer does make sense. I'm not totally off.
And if I round it to the thousands place, you want your answers to be within 1,000 of each other to be reasonable. If you round it to the hundreds, you're looking for numbers that are no more than 100 apart. So it makes sense if we were still within 1,000 of each other and we rounded to the thousands place, that's a logical question or answer.
Now I'm going to subtract. I'm going to actually subtract. I can't do 5 minus 6, so I have to regroup, and that becomes 15 ones. 15 minus 6 is
8, 9.
Yeah, 9. See, you need to think too. 6 minus 5, 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. 8, 7, 6, 5. And I got 5,119. Now I'm going to round. Since we did 1,000, I'm going to do the hundreds this time just as a review. So if I'm rounding the nearest 100, this is the place value, I'm changing, and I have to look behind it. Well, that's 5 or above, the original number. So I am going to round it up to 8,500. This one, I'm looking at the hundreds. Oh, that's 5 or above, so I'm going to also round this one up. And I'm subtracting. Guys, look at your signs. It's the number one place we lose points. And I get 5,100. Wow, those are super, super close. Then I probably got it right. My answer is reasonable. All right.
All right, we can do the same thing with multiplication. We can estimate products. So again, I'm going to have to flip the problem to solve it. I'm going to multiply. What I'm really doing here is multiplying 7 ones times 3 ones times 20, and then times 100. 100 in the place value. So you're going to have to work your way across. 7 times 3 is 21. I put down the 1, carry the 2. 7 times 2 is 14. We add those extra 2 on that we had to carry over, which makes 16. And then 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So my actual answer is 861. When we're rounding to find the product, we're only going to round the top number. We're not going to round the number that we're multiplying by. So 123 will round to the nearest hundreds, is going to round down to 100. I multiply that by my 7 again, and I get 700. Now you can see in multiplication your numbers are going to be farther apart. So 700 is not within 100 of 861 because I'm multiplying. I took away 23 groups of 7 when I rounded here. So that's why my answers are further apart, and it still does make sense. Okay? lastly, we went over exact and estimate in class. And remember, the key words for exact and estimate are that if my problem says about, you're going to find an estimate. If my problem says something like how many or how much, that's looking for your exact number. So the clue for us in exact and estimate is that word about. Whenever you see the word about, you're going to estimate. If you don't see the word about, you're going to be finding an exact.
All right, and that is it for estimation. Hopefully you understand it better, and good luck on the test tomorrow.
Work hard on that study packet.